Hello, and welcome to hashtag us too. Every time. Episode 10.
Episode 10.
We're in the double digits now.
Woo!
Yeah.
Double digit midgets.
Damn, we're gonna get canceled.
Why? Oh, double digit little
people. This is Jay Elliott.
And this is SB Riverdale.
And Gia's in the background. And,
I have a boo-boo.
I have a boo-boo on my heart.
I'm actually kind of obsessed with it because I was gonna say, I was walking to work. There was ice when there was super cold days this past week. It was 7 degrees outside, and then everything froze, and then the next day, ice falling from the roof. I didn't see it because I was looking up. I slip, and then I cut my hand, and I was so scared I was gonna get infected because I was on a New York City sidewalk, but I washed it out and it's fine.
AIDS, bubonic plague, SARS,
hepatitis,
COVID.
Yeah, stupidity. I could have caught a number of things.
Could have caught everything.
But I didn't, and
and she's healing up.
It's kind of cool to have a boo-boo because it reminds me of being little and falling and getting scrapes and stuff. I haven't had a scrape in a long time.
I don't think I have either, knock on wood.
It's kind of fun because it makes me feel like I'm doing stuff. I just fell over.
Oh my god.
But that's how it feels.
Damn.
How do you feel?
I have a boo-boo on my heart. Whatever, I don't even care.
A boo-boo on your boobs.
Yeah. I just feel like, whatever, I get to be honest here if I want. Yeah, I've just been sad. But not every day. This has been today and yesterday.
It goes up and down.
Yeah.
Because
I went through a breakup. And I feel like that my brain was like, what if he listens to this? I don't want him to know. Well, no, fuck you if you listen to it. But anyways. You piece of shit. Okay,
she's doing great.
I break the camera. She has calm down. No, actually I am less angry, believe it or not. And
yeah, you've come a long way.
No, I've come a long way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, okay, so I was telling Jay, I feel like, I went through a breakup, and then the initial shock of it was so devastating because I felt unlovable. So the first month, maybe, was just me, oh my god, I'm unlovable, and freaking out and, crying about that.
Yeah.
And then
Which was not true.
It wasn't true, and I think part of why this breakup happened was because I needed to learn that. That I am lovable. And I feel like every day I'm I meditate. I'm I love myself, and I've been really... I was doing yoga today, and then I've been doing this thing where I hug myself and kiss myself, and I started laughing because I automatically I was stretching up, and then I didn't even think about it, and I was just and I was oh, that's so sweet.
Cute.
Yeah. And I'm just in the habit of being sweet and weird and
gay with your body.
Yeah.
But I used to do that too when I was in college, and I took a gap year between high school and college. So alone all the time. Antisocial. Would go days without using my voice at all. I would just not speak because I didn't have to communicate with anybody. And then I got so lonely, I was what is this feeling? But it felt like I needed physical touch. That's a need. And so I would just and it would help.
It actually, there have been studies about hugging yourself. It works. You hug yourself and you're nice to yourself.
It's weird. Definitely maybe seek relationships with actual people first, friends, I used to I think hugs are great. I used to not be a hug person.
Me too.
But then I started getting real friends, and then I think hugs are nice.
Yeah, if you're friends with someone, you know they're not gonna like accost you.
No,
Go
it's
for
like
a hug.
it's nice. It's good.
I love a good hug. Now I take all the hugs I can get.
Yeah,
If I'm
like,
out, I'm like.
I think of it like, okay, this is good. Now my body will be, I'm like filling a quota.
Yeah.
Because I'm not hooking up with people right now.
But today's sadness and yesterday it feels like I'm actually mourning the other person. Because for a while it felt like getting over that unlovable feeling, which is like kind of blows my mind that I don't feel that way anymore.
That's good.
And it's funny because people see me and they're like, you seem happier than ever, and I am. But it's like, okay, this is so nerdy, but I was watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then...
It's a good show.
Do you remember the episode where Iroh, they all have, like, their mini adventure?
What was
it's
he
just,
doing?
like, focuses on one character, but Iroh was, like, making tea in this episode, and then he goes to this hill, and because his son died in a war, and then he, like... It was his birthday. Oh my god, I'm gonna get teary right now. I'm so emotional. I might cry. I'm gonna You guys are gonna see me cry eventually. But I was watching Avatar's been getting me.
Yeah.
And he like set up like a little
like kind of like a
grave
honor
thing. Yeah. In his picture, and he sang a song, and then he started crying.
I remember that. That was actual. I cried.
I cried so much, and I was like, oh. But that was kind of how I feel about my ex, where I'm like, oh, I miss this dummy. Because I did love him so much. Like, I feel like, too, when I fall in love with somebody, I'm like, I have to be careful about who I fall in love with because I need to make sure they're going to be just as devoted. Because I can fall in love, I was telling Jay, I can fall in love with hideous people. And I don't even mean like hideous, like ugly, but I also do mean that. But I mean like hideous souls.
Terrible.
Yeah. Which I think shows how much I can love, but I'm like, I don't need to do that and I don't want to.
You gotta be choosy.
Yeah.
Because you want to have like a safe object of your love.
I want someone to love me back the same way.
Yeah. And not hurt you. Damn. Yeah, I don't know what that's like. I've only done the breaking up.
Jay.
But I've also like only been with someone for like a month. So I don't know what it feels like. But I used to say like, and I was telling Espy this, like,
She is listening to the tea. Her ears are like forward, like, girl, what are you saying?
She's like, I used to...
I'm gonna get a picture so I can like post it in the pod. Oh god damn it. Whatever.
No, she's like eating something, I don't know, licking the floor. I used to want to get broken up, like my heart broken, because I, for a while, was, like I said, like an antisocial, just like an incel. So I felt like I was missing out on
Don't say incel.
Well, girl, at that time, yeah.
No.
Nobody wanted it.
What
I wasn't really like advertising it, but I was so like, I felt like I didn't go through normal milestones. Like I started dating when I was 25. That is so late.
I started at 22.
That's pretty late too. I mean, I knew people dating in middle school.
That's gross. Sorry, I would never let my kid. I'd be like, no, you're getting homeschooled.
Honestly, thank God I didn't, because I was so hormonally crazed. Like, that would have just been a bad situation.
Like, how?
I'm sure it would be illegal on several levels. But, like,
my God!
I was, like, so gross as a teen. Like, it's probably good that I did not, but I just felt like...
you, like, keep trying to gloss over it.
I would see other people dating. I would see other people, like, breaking up, you know, getting engaged, whatever. Going through, like, normal milestones, and I felt like, I don't know what that feels like, and I already felt so alone. that I wanted to know at least what it felt like so I could relate. So I was like, I want to get broken up with because there's songs about it, and I want to know what it means, you know, like what they're talking about. But seeing us be like this, I really need to know if I really need that. I think I'm good, but
Shay's like, seeing SB half dead.
that's enough for me.
My brain's so vicious. I'm like, I hope my ex does listen, because, you're a cunt. I know.
Oh my god.
About, like, I'm not mad. I'm like, I'm not angry anymore. No, but it's horrible. But I just don't get why. I do get mad when boys are so immature. Like, I was telling Jay, I've had guys like me that I've liked that I was, like, sincerely confused about. But I had enough wherewithal, because I'm not a moron, to be like, I don't want to hurt this person, so I'm just going to be like, I don't like you.
Oh, yeah. Thinking about, empathy. Basic human
decency. To not be like, I love you, and then be like...
Thinking outside of yourself. These are big things, especially for men. I don't expect that from gentlemen. Well, maybe that's why, like, a gentleman exists, because you're like, this is, like, a standard...
Well, this was what one of my friends said. I don't want to talk shit. I'm not talking shit. My friend was like, who doesn't live here. She lives in Philly. She was like, so comics, like, if you date a comic, she's like, that's like going to a fast food restaurant. So she was like... So she's like, you might have McDonald's or Quiznos or Taco Bell or
get diarrhea.
Burger King.
Yeah.
But she was like, and your ex might be the McRib. Like, he might be the best thing at McDonald's, but he's still McDonald's. She was so funny. She was like, you know those TikToks where they're like, this is your man? You're like, yeah. Like, they show you the picture. They're like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. They're like, this is your man.
That always happens to me, too. I don't know if I have, like, a broken, like, meter inside of, like, what's cute. But I'll always be like, oh, this is my guy. And people are like, him? And I'm like, he's tall. Like, I have to make something up to make them, like, accept it.
She was like, he's, like, fine looking. I had thought he was attractive, but she was just like, he doesn't seem like he has any, like, substance. Also, she's older than us. And he doesn't have any substance.
Oh.
Damn.
Well.
What's out there? It's out there. But the reason why I bring it up is because I feel like it's so interesting to me, like, the emotion, like, if you really listen to yourself, like this quote from Jordan Peterson, I don't know if they can see it.
No. I don't think so.
No. We don't have to. It's about, like, facing the darkness and, like, really fully looking at it, and then you will find the brightest light.
Oh, yeah. Like, inside yourself.
Yeah, because I've been going through so many layers of sadness. I think that's why I've been growing. Because even Carla the other day was like, she was like, I haven't known you that long, and you used to, like, pull tasers on people and get, like, so frustrated. And she's like, you just seem so much more calm and, like, overall more happy. And I was like, I am.
Yeah.
And I keep, like, I'm not going to stop, like, if I feel sad, I'm not going to push it away. I'm going to, like, listen to it.
It's kind of insane how, I mean, this is an aside, but we've both known each other like a year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy how much both of us have changed in just
so
that amount
much.
of time. And
you used to be like a boy.
Well, today I'm cosplaying as a boy
oh my
as
God,
well.
Stop.
I've been sometimes I'll dress in boy drag, and that's okay.
I was telling Jay the other night, she was seating at the pair, and she was like, I look like a boy. And I was like, no.
No, you don't.
And then...
This is the thing. I used to have curly hair, and I would say a joke about how, like, my friends tell me I'm pretty, but then this guy on the train said I look like a young Howard Stern. But yeah, you were...
I was gonna, like, I'm gonna punch this guy.
I was like, I look like a boy. I was dressed like this. I haven't changed. And, he...
You didn't have to tell them.
Well, it's okay. It was last night, and... Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like...
And, I just got dressed for that, so I've just... It's not like I wore it for 2 days. I wore it for, like, 1 day. Anyway.
I'm wearing the same pants from yesterday, I think.
It's... neither here nor
this
there.
guy, this audience member is like going in to sit down.
And I'm like, come with me. And he's like, okay, sir. And I'm like, I just gave SB a look. I was like...
I was just staring. I was like, okay.
I was like, oh, I look like a woman. But it's fine. I mean, like, I know to the general stranger. And I asked...
Sincerely, you look way more feminine
than a year ago.
Yeah.
Because it's only been a year. But also, I think I look in between. Just like an objective look at what's up. I'm like, okay, like, I'm in between, which is great. I mean, like, some people can never... Like, that meter doesn't really swing.
I mean, how long does it take again? 5 years to, like, fully?
They told me 5 or 6 years. So I'm like, I'm just trying to chill and be like...
You don't have a choice.
You
have to chill.
Pace. Yeah. I'm like, it's fine if I'm like andro, you know? Androgynous.
But also you're like much more open to things. I noticed too, this is not related to anything. I was like, blah, blah, blah. I was listening to our podcast and I was like, I say like so much.
I do too.
I have to.
I even say it on
chill.
stage
I'm
and I hate
trying to-
myself.
No, hey, I punch you in the face.
No.
No, you
But
love yourself.
I love myself. But
Jay, you have to say it
listen
and mean
to-
it. Hold
I'm like,
on.
We're
having a fight.
No, I love myself. I mean...
Jay, you have to... Whatever.
As much as I can. I love myself. But I hate when I say and like.
My boob's itchy. It's so annoying. Sorry, guys.
Mine hurt.
I'm getting so comfortable on this podcast. It's like not good. Because I would never do this in
just
person.
unraveled.
We're just... You're more open-minded to things.
Yeah. And just being honest and open. Period. Because I think once I transitioned, it was like the floodgates kind of opened. Because I was like, what am I holding back now? Nothing. I can just kind of like let it all hang out. And
let it loose.
Yeah. And just be real. Because I don't know if a lot of people have that struggle. I think generally people feel like they have to kind of keep
things in.
Keep things in.
As I'm like scratching my body. Like there's a reason. No, but you're more open. And so Jay, I remember Jay kind of cracks me up because she was like, when she told me about being trans, she was like, I have to tell you something terrible. And I was like, this person's murdered somebody. I was so ready to be like...
SB was like, where's the body?
Yeah.
Like...
I was like, what are we doing?
We can hide it. Like...
There we have options.
Yeah.
And then Jay was like, I'm trans. And I was like, that's good. And then... From then on. But then I remember too, so... it was funny because I kind of feel like we were both tiptoeing around each other. I have such a strong feeling about the universe. And even with my therapist, I was like, he's like, you seem embarrassed. And I was like, it just feels a little weird. I don't know if I sound crazy, but I believe in the universe so much. And I feel like it's always pushing me and helping me. And one of my goals this year is to be closer to God. So I'm doing everything I can to make that work. But I was scared to talk to Jay about it. And I would talk about the universe sometimes. And then you were like, oh, I love God, but I hate talking about it. It's weird. And I was like, no, this is great.
Yeah, that was, I think, a surprise to me that you were... Because being around UCLA, that's where I went to college, everybody there that I hung out with was so judgmental about, especially Christianity. But
Oh yeah,
just
you mentioned this in another podcast.
Yeah, religion, and I was like, oh, this is like embarrassing. Let me just like not talk about this, because people get weird. But like we both have kind of like a spiritual.
I am highly spiritual, more than I have ever been.
And I think it's healthy in the sense that like thinking about what direction your life is headed, and like morality and kind of like existential stuff, because there is like a general sense of existential dread people feel, but they just try not to talk about it. It's better to just be like real with your feelings.
It's always better to be real with your feelings. I also have, like you were saying, it gives you direction. I feel lost right now. I feel really sure of my emotions, and I'm not getting angry how I used to. Or if I do, I know how to slow it down. But I feel lost in my career because I'm so goal oriented that, I told you I was like, I'm gonna come back from Edinburgh and I'm gonna quit barking, and then I did that, and then I was like, I want to host more, and I was doing that, and then was like, okay, this feels like I need something else, and then emotionally I wasn't too happy, which is why I've been listening to a lot of people talk about God, and then me and Jay started going to church.
Yeah, the first time
was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
And then I really like reading the scriptures, and then I have the Quran, because I don't feel married to any religion, and I guess I used to be atheist. I remember being a kid and being scared, especially when my grandfather passed away, and that was my first death. And I never went to church, so I didn't know, and when people talked about God, I was like, they just sound crazy. They're talking about a guy like in the sky, and I didn't understand. That's why I tend to say the universe, because it doesn't feel like it can just take the figure of something, I guess. I don't know, but I'm trying to learn about the whole thing because it all feels the same. And then even in the Quran, it said that, I don't want to misspeak, but each book was handed to a different prophet. So the gospel was handed to, I don't remember who, and then the Torah was handed to Abraham, I think, and then...
Oh, it talks about, like, the Judeo-Christian religions, too?
It mentions in the beginning there's sort of this forward, I think, or whatever, but they talk about how... They even say stuff like, this book, please treat with respect. I think they kind of want non-Muslims to read it.
Okay.
And they're even like, if you're going to throw it away, call this number and we'll take it.
There's like a forward.
Yeah, but I was glad because I also don't know anything, and they kind of how to read it. Because I've never read any of that. That's why I want an actual Bible. I'm just trying to read all of them for myself, and then they were saying too, like, it's a good way to learn yourself. Like, don't listen to someone, go read it and see what you think. Yeah. And I read a couple passages, and it was very much the same about being good and being happy, and it's like God wants you to have these things. And I was like, okay, this feels good. I think I'm trying to learn more because I do feel lost, and I want to kind of figure out the universe a bit more so I can it's guiding me. I'm learning about it, and then it's helping me. I just know that there was this impulse in me to get closer to the universe.
My story with religion is a lot more kind of crazy, where I was like, what exactly happened? Oh, I had like been sick for a while, and that was really like difficult. Part of the reason why I was so antisocial was I was just sick and inside all the time. And then I was like, what's wrong with my life? My body's messed up, so that's physical. and my mind is messed up from like trauma or whatever. That's mental. And so I thought,
So
well,
dark.
let me fix my physical first. So then I studied microbiology, and I was like doing all this research in medical journals, like trying to figure out my own problem because doctors didn't know. And then I started to get better once I was like figuring out like, okay, like this helps, this doesn't. So that was getting better. And then the mental stuff, I was like revisiting trauma and like working through that. And it was getting better as well. And so I was like, my life was improving. And I was like, great. But I still have this crazy existential dread that just kind of makes everything difficult. So maybe it's not mental or physical, it's spiritual. And so I went to a Chick-fil-A with, I like arranged a meeting with a seminary student who I had like a list of inflammatory questions to like grill him on the Bible with. I was like, what about slavery? Like I was like ready.
Yeah.
I was like, is being gay illegal? I was gonna talk about all this stuff like men, like gender roles and everything, sexism in the Bible, all these kind of really hot topics. And I just started rattling him off, and then he would kind of like flip through. He knew a lot, and he would flip through and like address the questions individually. Sometimes I would be like, and then other times I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. But then I just realized, this is gonna sound weird, but I was just like, oh, like I thought God hated me because my life has been hard. But no. I think I feel loved. And then I was like, okay. So then I just became like a Christian, I guess.
Yeah.
And that loved feeling is the main thing, where I'm like, I felt loved in that moment, and I have every single day past that, I felt loved. From like that existential dread is just gone. And it's like magic. I mean, I'm not saying that like religion is like a cure-all for your depression or whatever, but it like I've never felt loved like that.
I think it is if you use it the right way and you follow it, because it is a guide, and it sort of feels to me I kind of have more of a belief in it because I didn't grow up with it. And it didn't make sense. I was like, you guys are crazy. I just thought people who believe in religion were crazy. I was like,
yeah.
God. And I didn't like, I remembered my family, they were Catholic, and then they heard about the priests misusing the power and abusing kids, and then it just felt like to me, then I would hear about these religious cults, and I was like, what is the point? Why wouldn't you think for yourself? But I think my whatever is going on with me, I feel so spiritual. I feel like I'm pushing myself to be a better person because of it. Even when we went, the sermons I keep thinking about and sort of feel like they are a great start to my week.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I'm thinking about what they had talked about and trying to apply it to my life, or be really honest and not even white lie, which I did today. And then I tell Jay, and I'm like, I'm so... But it makes you more aware of yourself, and it's like pushing me to be even better and kinder, and I feel also very loved. It's funny because, like I mentioned before, I'm heartbroken, but I feel so loved. Yeah.
It's better than before. And I guess that's what I think a lot of people just want to feel. That's what SB is always saying. She's like, everything is about love. Like people,
the whole life is about love.
People just want to be loved.
Me and Denim were talking about that today. People act out of love and fear, but it all revolves around love.
Lack of love or wanting it.
Wanting it.
Yeah.
And Gia is being so cute. I wish you guys could see her. And her ears pointed forward when I said Gia. It is always about lack of love. You could take anyone. I feel like I look at people now and I'm always thinking about that.
I guess it's like a useful way to look at people.
It is, because you can see pretty quickly the way people act. So even with the Bible, the Quran, and then reading anything sort of spiritual, like the 4 agreements, which I think we've mentioned on here. The first agreement is be impeccable with your word. And then
Don't make assumptions.
don't make assumptions. Why do I always forget the third one?
Girl, I don't know them.
Don't take anything personally.
Oh, that's the one.
And
yeah.
always do your best.
Okay.
And but that kind of is what the Bible and the Quran say too.
Yeah, there's a lot of overlap.
And I feel like the 4 agreements feels more like Buddhism. But then in Buddhism, which was the first, so we learned about religions in school, and I was like, sincerely, this is what I felt like. I was like, Christianity's dumb, Islam's dumb. I was like, they're all dumb because they just don't make sense. I was like, do you believe in this stuff? And then like, so then Buddhism, I liked because it felt more like a lifestyle, and they were like, we accept if you are of a religion. And I was like, oh, that's nice. They accept everybody. And then I liked them. I tried the practices. Like, I would meditate for 45 minutes to an hour every day, and then I would see changes and was striving towards enlightenment, which is sort of similar to being good and happy. And then I also love, there's a rule in Buddhism, or not even a rule, but they believe that everything should be respected and that all living things deserve love, which is another reason why when I started to love myself, I was like, why do I deserve this? Am I going to get weirdly arrogant or whatever? But Buddhists are like, no, you have to love yourself first. You are also another living organism, so you have to honor the universe by loving yourself.
Like RuPaul, if you don't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love somebody else?
It's true.
It is true. Or like the people. Oh, how far along?
It's fine. We're not that far. I just want to do low power mode, so my battery's like flying down. Are you still recording? We're still recording. We're great. Okay.
But like people accept the love they think they deserve.
But that's why I think I've dated the guys that I have also, to be honest, because I would be like, I've dated such jerks or guys that wouldn't receive my love, and then, but at the time I felt like I wasn't worthy of love, and then I realized the way you do things like attracts everything. That's why I think the Bible is good and religion's good, because then you start to be so much more aware of what you're doing. And even Eric Thomas was saying too, it's good to be sad, but then also he was like, stop praying for the negative. You're just focusing on the negative.
Yeah.
Start praying, like imagine what else can happen and pray for the big things and work on it. And yeah, so I'm trying to just be more positive. But everything, all of these books and podcasts, like everything's like, love yourself.
It ain't easy.
No. But like my boy Eric Thomas says too, he's like, none of it's easy. Like, it's not easy
Life
to
is
be
hard.
depressed. Yeah, it's just going to be hard, so you might as well try your best.
Yeah. Ooh, that rhymed. And we were always, we were talking about how good and bad, like you can be good or you can be bad.
Cain and Abel?
Cain and Abel. Yeah, like, wait. I was just gonna say like where, it's kind of like lying. Like, you can tell the truth or you can lie. But life is always hard, so you might as well struggle honestly than deal with, like, the consequences of lying.
If you lie, there's a web
Yeah, it's always gonna be hard. You're always gonna struggle, so you might as well be honest.
Jordan Peterson says if you don't tell the truth, you're breaking your mechanism of viewing the world. Then things start to get murky and confusing.
That makes sense.
When I was drinking a lot, I was lying, and I remember being in this haze, and I remember waking up and I was drunk, and I got so frustrated because I was like, I am so tired of feeling. I remembered telling myself I had to act right so people wouldn't know how messed up I was. And I don't remember a lot.
It's
but
exhausting.
I remember I was constantly in this haze, and I was constantly anxious because I was always on the verge of withdrawal if I didn't have enough alcohol. And so it's like your body's just in hyper, and then I wet the bed so much.
Really?
Yes, because when you drink like that, your kidneys can't deal with it, so it just empties.
Well, one time I blacked out and then I pissed some guy's bed. And then I woke up and I was like, I think someone pissed your bed. And he was like,
Did you say that?
Yeah.
Oh my god, Jay.
He was like, you did. But he was nice and he was like, here's some water. You could use it.
Damn. It sucks pissing in the bed because it's, yeah, it's so bad.
Did you have to flip over the mattress?
I was so drunk I just slept in it. I was such a mess. You don't even know. I don't even remember how bad it was because I was so drunk. But I do know, too, I remember, so this is horrible. So I have sometimes this and I wonder if it's related at all. I'm not sure. So I get athlete's foot from time to time, especially if I'm running a lot, like in the summer. And dude, this was so gross. I just wasn't taking care of myself. So I was really drunk. I was on this bender for a few days, and I had athlete's foot, and I was like, it's fine. And then I woke up and my feet were like on fire, and it looked like the whole like bottom of my foot was just like ripped open and raw, and it was so itchy.
Oh my god.
And I was like, okay, I should take care of this now. And I remember even going to, there's only, you know what's crazy too? So when I was drinking so much, I kept blacking out. So it's like snippets of memory. So I'm like, I don't even remember what I did to deal with that. Because I remembered, I was like, oh, I should deal with this. And then I kept getting so anxious dealing with anything.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it started like so bad. I was writing a paper and I felt anxious at home, and everyone's like, don't drink alone. And I was like, oh, this will help me write my paper. So it's like I had a beer, and then it started to do that all the time. And I was like, oh, I'm anxious about this paper. Like, then I would wake up. It just slowly snowballed. It was crazy how out of control it got. Yeah. But anytime something, it was insane how like, now I'm so about feeling my feelings because I'm like, I will never get back to that. But it was like, oh, I have a paper to write, and it felt like such a huge problem. I was like, I need to drink to deal with this.
It's kind of like getting on stage.
Yeah.
A few times in the beginning I would drink to get on stage because it's scary. But then I would just be dumb and do terribly on stage. And then you want to drink more. And I was like, this is a slippery slope. I might as well just tough it out. And now I can just get on stage.
I would drink about everything. The reason why I didn't date either was because I would just get stressed. Like, any feeling I was so against.
Yeah.
If I liked a guy, it scared me, and I would just cut it off. My friend Lucy was like, you broke so many hearts. But I just was like, I would not go near it.
Be vulnerable.
No, I was just drinking all the time.
What changed?
So, my friend Jordan, who I'm still friends with. No, it's okay. It's still recording here. So we can just use I think I need a bigger SD card.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to check it out. My friend Jordan was like, oh, the battery died, I think. Okay. My friend Jordan was telling, she was like, I was being so stubborn about wanting to drink, and she was like, I bet you can't go a week without drinking. And I was like, yes, I can. And I went like a day, and then I started getting the shakes. This was the first time I got the shakes.
Oh my God.
And I was like, there's no way I'm getting the shakes. Like,
Oh
I was
my
like, I'm
God.
not like that. And then I kept not drinking, and then I had so much anxiety. I was like, I have to drink. Like, and so then I drank, and I was like, whatever. And I lied. I lied about.
You said that you hadn't drunk.
And so I just kept drinking, and then I was like, okay, I want to see if that happens again, because I was like, because then you lie to yourself like crazy. And then I was like, no, that was nothing. And so then I tried again to not drink, and my heart was like, you can like hear your heart pounding. It's like in your ears. And then I was like, I remember having the auditory hallucination. So I would hear, it was always like knocking, or somebody would say my name. And I always felt like, then I would get angry and paranoid. And I was like, somebody's at my fucking door. And then they were like playing games with me. I was like going crazy.
Damn.
And I knew I was going a little like cuckoo. So I started to isolate more, which just made it worse. And then I was like, no, I want to deal with this. So I would try to cut back, but then it's so hard cutting back. And then you get frustrated because you're so angry. Like, the anger was insane, and the paranoia, because I don't know if I've said this before on the podcast. So I started to research the brain and the withdrawals. There's, in your head, it's called the adrenal gland, and it's responsible for your adrenaline. So a normal person, if I go outside and I walk around right now, or I go to the subway, my adrenaline's going to be up a little bit. It should be, because it's like, I'm a small lady, something could happen.
Yeah.
And
you're doing stuff.
Right. So your alcohol kind of combats the adrenaline gland. That's why you get like loose. But then your body wants to protect you, so it overcompensates. So it kind of sees it as a threat. Yeah, so then that's why people tend to feel anxious after they drink anyways. So if you're drinking like I was, it starts to up, which is why people can have seizures and get the shakes.
Damn.
You can die from alcohol withdrawals. And so I was trying to be careful, but then I would try to not. It was horrible. I'm like surprised I got through that. They're painful too.
Yeah.
And I remember always being like in pain. I remember screaming at my therapist. She tried to send me to the hospital. I was like, fuck you.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I just stormed out. She was like, I'm really worried about your health. And I was like,
damn, girl. That's rough.
I can't believe, I'm proud of myself.
It's interesting too, because like I've gone through pain, but it was like not self-inflicted.
Yeah, that was self-inflicted. That's sad.
Yeah. It's interesting though. Like, we go through different stuff, and we kind of have the same destination. If I had also been an alcoholic, I'd probably just be dead.
Why?
Because my stomach like didn't work. So it'd be like crazy if I was also doing it. Like,
I don't think you could be an alcoholic.
It'd be like really. That's why I can't. Like, when I drink too much, it really fucks up my stomach, and then like my body, like, I get so sick. I feel like I don't even want to drink.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because that's all you need to be an alcoholic. It's so dark. It's insane how it slips away. I think sometimes I look at people now and I'm like, how could you do that? And then I forget how... I feel like you wouldn't even like me as a person if you had met me. I was so...
Well, same. We've changed so much.
I've changed. Like we said, we both changed so much the past year.
1 year.
Since I've known you.
Let alone decade.
Yeah.
We've been going through a lot, and we've overcome a lot, and we've come very far.
I am happy about it, but I'm also like, where's my break?
Yeah, it feels daunting because you're like, wow, I've been through so much and there's more to go.
That's why the breakup, I was like, it's just like, what? I was like, why? But I think there's a reason.
It's just life.
But I've also learned a lot fast. That's what Jordan Peterson says. When there's chaos, you either run away or you face it and you change fast.
Yeah. Change is hard.
It's scary. I think that's part of why I'm looking for the universe too.
For some help.
Yeah. And Gia probably can feel when, for all of your people that are skeptical about bunnies, also the camera's not on, I just keep pointing at it. Gia knows when I'm broken.
Yeah, animals can sense stuff.
Last night was a really rough night for me, and I have these, reminds me of withdrawals, because when I was going through withdrawals, I would have these weird dreams about alcohol and all this stuff, and so I'll have dreams about my ex that don't even make sense, or he'll just be there, and then my heart is like pounding. I'm like, this is actual withdrawals. I'm so pissed. I'm like, I didn't even do drugs this time. And then Gia woke me up. She jumped in bed, and then I started crying because it was so sweet, and then she kind of calmed me down and then was on her way. But yeah, because she normally doesn't sleep in the bed with me, but I feel like it's like if I'm going through a severe bout, she's like, I'm here.
Gia to the rescue.
Or she's trying to sleep and she's like, girl, could you not? No, I think she cares very much.
She's so cute.
I know. She's so sweet.
I like her little elbow.
Her whole body's just cute. Even her feet are cute. Her pants are adorable. Her face mask.
I love when she just sits there.
She's just stretched out right now and she's sleepy.
What time is it?
It's time for you to get a watch.
I feel like we should wrap it up.
Yeah, I feel like it too.
Because we gotta go. I don't know if we're gonna do it, but we were gonna sing.
Yeah, I have to sing a song for my heart.
A Rihanna song.
Yeah, 4 or 5 seconds.
And I gotta go to sleep too.
Yeah, okay, so where can they find you, Jay Elliott?
I'm on Instagram _JAYELLIOT.
And I'm SB Rivadeneira, ESPIRIVADENEIRA on all social media. And that's our episode, hashtag podcast, hashtag us too, episode 10.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.